Hey guys, what's going on? Toolcrews here with,
Goodness.
and as the title suggests, today's video is going to be a little bit of a sad one. So we've got a pretty big announcement to make on the channel. So there's some bad news and there's some good news, and it's a little bit of a long story. So I'm going to talk about why we're leaving Japan, what's going on in our lives, what we're doing moving forward. And we're going to talk about all this on today's ride. There's some really nice weather today, and we actually came out here to, this is Aichi Bokujo. This is where they hold the annual cyclocross race over there. We just recently came over here to film that cyclocross video, and we came over here today to film a walking video for Thuong-chan's walking channel. She's working really hard on her walking channel lately. So if you're interested, go check out that video. So we're out here today enjoying the nice weather, enjoying a nice bike ride. Let's go get on our bikes and we'll continue the video there. Let's go. Thuong-chan no Yume let's go. We're on our road bikes today. So I've got my Planet X with my brand new solid tires, and Thuong-chan's on her road bike as well. She's got her flat pedals today so she can walk in her normal shoes so she doesn't make any extra sound. So here we are right across the street from Aichi Bokujo. This is Aichi Ike, so Aichi Pond or Aichi Lake. You can translate it either way. And there's a nice little walking path here, a little cycling path here as well. You have to go pretty slow here because this is mainly for the walkers, for the runners, but it's a nice scenic path and a fitting place to continue today's ride. So let's go ahead and just dive into today's topic. It's gonna be a long one. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of big updates, but here we go. So Thuong and I are going to be leaving Japan. So many of you guys know who are fans of the channel. My wife is Vietnamese, I'm American. We met here in Japan, we got married here in Japan. I recently just made a video about how we met, how we got married. So if you're interested in watching that first, go check it out. And we've been married and living here together for the last 2 years. We speak Japanese, it's our common language, so it's pretty fair to say that Japan is one of the main strong bonds connecting us. So for us to consider leaving Japan, and for us to actually be leaving Japan, is a pretty big deal. This is one of the things you have to be careful about on the course, these barriers, so that you don't go too fast, but you can easily navigate them. We've been asked on this channel a lot on how long we plan to stay in Japan. Do we plan on living in Japan forever? Do we plan on starting a business in Japan? And those are honestly paths that we considered. I thought really hard about trying to make something happen like that, starting some sort of cycling tourism company here eventually. But the tough reality is it's really hard for two foreigners who are non-Japanese to start a business here unless you have some serious capital. And unfortunately, we don't have that kind of money lying around. And it's much easier for us to do something in one of our home countries where we don't have to worry about visa, residency, and stuff like that. So the options were Vietnam and America. So we were considering in the back of our minds that we might eventually go to America one day, we might move to Vietnam one day to start a business and move on with our lives at some point in our lives. But for the time being, we were happy living in Japan, we were happy working in Japan, we had a good life here, and it's fun making these videos on YouTube talking about cycling, talking about life here in Japan. And unfortunately, we had some big events happen recently in our lives, mainly in Thuong-chan's life, that have made us decide that we're going to move to Vietnam. I don't want to go into too much detail because this is getting a little bit personal, but those of you who have watched the channel for a while know that a little bit over a year ago, Thuong-chan and I made a sudden trip back to Vietnam. A little bit over a year ago, Thuong-chan and I made a sudden trip back to Vietnam for a family member who passed away. And actually recently, another family member has passed away, and it's been a really tough time for her family. It's been a really tough time for her being away from her family and not being able to spend time close together with her family. And we realized that we wanted to live a life where we could be closer to family, where we could go see family when we needed to. And unfortunately, working in Japan and living here in Japan and not really having the time to take off holidays to go travel abroad for long periods of times wasn't really a life that we could sustain. And the biggest thing in our minds, and especially in her mind, was that she wanted to be closer to her family, help support her family. Right now in her hometown, her mom and her disabled grandma are living together, just the two of them there. So it's a tough time for them there. And so one of the reasons we're going to be moving back to Vietnam is so that we can be closer to them, we can have a more supportive role there, and that we can also see them And yeah, you can't put a price on family, you can't put a price on health. And that's the main reason why we're going to be moving to Vietnam moving forward. So it is a little bit of a sad story. Of course, her family is suffering right now, and we're gonna have to leave everything that we built here in Japan to start a new life in Vietnam. But of course, in every negative situation, there's also opportunity as well. So there is still some good news in this, and that is Thuong and I are still gonna be together. We're going to work hard to build a life where we can have more time to spend together, to travel together, to spend time with family. And I'm also excited to move to Vietnam to learn more about her, learn more about her culture, learn her language. I'll be studying some Vietnamese while we're there, studying the language and getting to know her family a little bit better. It's really tough because no one in her family really speaks English except for one person. And of course, she's the only one who speaks Japanese. So it's been really hard for me to communicate with them so far. And there's a lot of cultural differences. There's also some exciting stuff from the sense in YouTube is that we can make a lot more interesting videos moving forward. And that's another thing I'm sort of struggling with, and that is how I want to move forward with this channel. Toolcrews originally was a channel that I started to film my sort of cycling videos, my travel videos. As Thuong and my relationship developed, we filmed more of our lives together, so things that we were doing together, which mainly included cycling and travel. So moving forward, I'm planning to, of course, make more cycling videos in Vietnam, the cycling culture there. And that's something I'm really excited about because I hear the cycling culture there is just growing and growing and getting more popular there. So it's a booming industry to be in. There's also some regular sort of life in Vietnam videos that I want to make. And I'm not sure if I want to mix both of those on the channel, whether or not I should focus on the channel on mainly just being cycling videos about sort of our life videos, what we're doing together, mixing both of those together, or talking about life in Vietnam, the struggles in Vietnam. So if you could do me a solid favor, write down in the comments below, let me know what you think. Should I continue this channel with everything, just kind of mash everything together in the channel? Or do you think it's a good idea to maybe mix the two and focus this channel mainly being on cycling videos, cycling culture in Vietnam, and then separating a new video for more like personal stuff and life in Vietnam stuff? So let me know, is it a good idea to mix the two, or should I separate them? So I am really excited about those things. As for how we're going to be supporting ourselves moving forward, we've made the goal to convert all of our work to be online. And by switching all of our work online, it'll give us the freedom to go wherever we need to go. So if we want to spend some time in our mom's house, we can go there, stay there for a month, no problem. If we want to visit her other family member in another part of Vietnam, we can do that. If we want to go visit my family in the US, we can do that. And we can still work, we can still do everything. That doesn't mean we're going to be doing YouTube 100% full time. YouTube is going to be a big part of the strategy, but we honestly don't make enough money to sustain ourselves on YouTube right now. That will be one goal moving forward, to increase that, so we do make some more money on YouTube moving forward. And one thing that really helps with that is Patreon. All of you guys who help support us on Patreon, thank you so much. You guys have helped made this move a lot more easier. It really means a lot to us. And we're going to try and add some new rewards and bonuses for those of you who do help support us on Patreon, as a way for us to pay you guys back a little bit and show our appreciation. But anyway, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate that, and we're going to be relying on your support a bit more moving forward. I also do a bit of website freelance programming, and I also make a couple different websites of my own. So combining all these strategies, YouTube, freelance work, and just whenever there's any kind of event work, those are going to be our temporary solutions for how we pay the bills moving forward. Unfortunately, we're going to be at a little bit of a negative cash flow for a while. And hopefully with time, as we work harder on the channel, things will improve and get a little bit better. I wanted to stop here real quick and point out, this is a really interesting area. There's some rowing clubs here. And so you can see over here, this is where they store all the different rowing boats. And some days out here, you'll see a lot of people out here rowing and stuff. And it looks really fun. I'd love to try it one day. Anyway, we're going to continue on with our lap. I think this course is about 7 kilometers or so. So not super long or anything, but if you're going at a slow, casual pace like this, it's pretty nice. And as for my work in Japan, I've of course quit that job, and I spent my last day working last week. And so I've been off work for the last week so far, and it's been a weird change, honestly. I feel really bad that I had to quit the position so early. I only worked in that job for 1 year, but thankfully they were really understanding to our situation, and there were no hard feelings there. And right now our plans are actually getting a little bit messed up. We were planning to move to Vietnam in the middle of April, so I would just be off work here in Japan for a little bit of time while we prepared everything, sold everything, and got ready to leave. But with the whole virus situation thing right now, things are starting to get really unstable. We're not sure if we can actually go to Vietnam right now. And actually, it's probably not a really good idea to move, to change to a new environment that we don't know in this situation that could suddenly get way worse. So unfortunately, we've had some really bad timing with this, with the time of quitting work. So now I don't have any more salary coming in, and we're sort of stuck in Japan temporarily until this whole virus situation resolves a little bit, and until we can move to Vietnam with a little bit more peace of mind and a little bit more security. So we're not leaving Japan anytime soon. We're going to probably be staying here at least until May at the earliest, possibly later May or June, or even later, depending on how this virus situation continues. I may need to pick up some part-time work here while we're still here, but even that's sort of in question right now because a lot of schools are closing down, and it's generally now best to avoid contact with people as much as possible during the situation. So there's also some good news in that sense, is that both Thuong and I are off work right now. We're mostly staying home and we're going outside cycling a lot more, but the good thing with cycling is you don't have to get close to people, so it's generally safe. I'm not a scientist or anything, but I'm just assuming it's safer at least than going into some crowded areas with a bunch of people. And so yeah, it's a mixed bag, some good news, some bad news. And I'm really sorry to all you guys who wanted to continue seeing more Japanese content. But the good news is we'll be filming some more videos here in Japan over the next 2 months or so. So there's still a lot of Japan videos on the way. And the other good thing about this is we have a lot of time now, so we can film a whole bunch of different videos that we weren't able to do before. And we can go out here during the weekdays here in Japan when the weather's nice, when no one's out, when everyone else is stuck at work, and we can film a lot more interesting cycling videos, going to places that we normally didn't have the time to go to. And so I'm really excited about that, to dedicate more time and more effort into this channel to making it the best it can possibly be. And I don't know 100% how this channel is going to evolve moving forward in the future. But what I do know is we're going to do our best and continue to make entertaining videos for you guys, with cycling being at the core of everything that we do. So I hope you guys continue to follow along in our adventures, whether they be in Japan, whether they be in Vietnam. And I'm also hoping to travel a little bit more this next year as well. So going to some other places, going back to Taiwan, doing another Taiwan cycling trip, maybe doing a trip around the whole country. I've got a whole bunch of other exciting ideas. If there's any other videos you'd like us to make while we're still here in our time in Japan, let us know. And Chun-chan's also working really hard on her walking channel. So that's one of her efforts that she's going to be doing moving forward, is to try and grow that channel to be something that she can sustain and something that she can work on easily as we travel around different places in Japan and Vietnam moving forward. So it's an exciting time. It's an anxious time. We don't know exactly how everything's going to move moving forward, but we're confident that things are going to work out somehow. And again, thank you all for all of your support over the years on the Toolcrews channel, and we're going to continue working hard to make videos, entertaining videos for you guys. It's a lot to digest, and anyway, thanks again everyone for your support, and look forward to more videos on the way. We'll see you next time here on Toolcrews. Bye bye.